Good morning or good afternoon. It's Tuesday the 13th, February. Watching Rise Against the Machine, 100%. Teleprompter free, of course. You know, this is why we need to execute pedophiles, sex offenders. I just ran across the story here on the Daily Mail. Outrage as pedophile who rapes 4-year-old girl is elected fire chief in Pennsylvania town. What? First of all, this guy was elected to public office. Okay, it was just local office, but he was elected to public office. This guy who penetrated a 4-year-old girl with his penis. Yeah, I'm being blunt about it. This is not a family show. This is raw, straight truth show. And saying how it is. This guy gets his jollies off on little girls, and he gets elected to public local office in Pennsylvania. How does that even happen? And you know what's worse? You see that woman in the picture? You see her? Her name is, let me see what her name is. Mayor Ann Louise Wagner. She's the mayor of the town. She's the one who stood by him and supported the decision to have him elected. That's sick. I don't know, maybe she has some, what is that, dementia or something like that, where she just doesn't realize what's going on around her, which means that time for her to retire? Or is she part of this destructive liberal ideology that gives free passes to demonic lowlives that don't deserve the chance at all? I mean, this guy says, let me see, Gilbert, his name, excuse me, his name is Chief Robert Gilbert Jr., convicted of sexual intercourse with a 4-year-old girl in 2001. This is not just some guy that he has private access to little children and he just molests them or diddling them, which is not good. It's not right. It doesn't make it any better if he was just diddling girls. But this guy actually had sexual intercourse with a 4-year-old baby. Now, either this guy has a physical condition that makes him small or something, or he really did more trauma than just psychological trauma to the poor baby. That makes it worse. Regardless. Now, it doesn't make him right if he's just a little mini man, but it's just worse. That what is it that these people that think that they deserve another chance, that they feel sorry for him? Well, he has a medical condition. Oh, it's not his fault. No, he's a sick demon and he needs to be put to death. He said, I have changed my life for the better since the crime. He also says that was 20 years ago. The story you are telling kids is once you have made a mistake, you will be punished for the rest of your life. I've changed my life for the better. That's what this scumbag said. Now, having intercourse with a poor little baby is not a mistake. Mr. Gilbert wasn't walking down the street and tripped over a rock, fell down, and his penis just accidentally fell inside his 4-year-old girl. Right? No. Old Gilbert wasn't sitting on the couch and all of a sudden the girl was running and she tripped over something and her mouth fell on his penis. No, it was no mistake. There's no accident. This was a conscious decision to violate, terrorize a small child, innocent child. It doesn't matter if she was 15 years old. Still wrong. That's why it's a crime. Now, the thing is that we have come so far in our liberal ideology to give people like sex offenders second chances that people don't even know what's right anymore. This brings me to the second part of this segment about Larry Nassar. Now, you remember Larry Nassar, this Olympic doctor that was convicted for sexually assaulting gymnastics girls because he was diddling the girls and then trying to pass it off as a medical examination. Now, I'm not falling for that one. Nobody's falling for that one. But I don't know if you remember in the story when they showed him being convicted, the father, there are 3 daughters that were sexually assaulted by this monster. And he asked the judge, he said, "Hey, can I get 5 minutes in a locked room with this demon? Just 1 minute?" Of course, the judge was, "No, you cannot sit down." And so he just burst out in a dash towards him, about to leap over the bench and grab the guy and beat his ass to death. But of course, the court officers caught him. The court officers ran to Larry Nassar's protection and protected him just in case the guy escaped and was able to get to him to beat him down. But you know what the judge said? She said, "Now, prosecutors won't press charges against the father who tried to attack Larry Nassar, as if that's something that we wanted. You know? Like we wanted them to prosecute him. No, we don't want that. We wanted to see the guy beat Larry Nassar's ass to the ground, to a bloody pulp. Everybody wanted to see it. The daughters wanted to see it. You could see that smile, that glee just come across that one daughter's face when she saw her dad about to beat him down. Well, unfortunately, the judge said, "Please let the criminal justice system do what it's supposed to do." What? That's the problem. You know, just because the law says certain things does not mean that it's right. just because we now let people who take, oh yeah, like there was one story. This guy took a crowbar and sodomized 3 girls with it, and he gets out 10 years later. Just because the law allows that doesn't mean that that is right. We have, as humans and as symbols of a God-fearing freedom nation of good moral character, to punish those that break human rights, morality laws. You know, we talk so much about human rights, human rights, human rights. But so how about the rights of the victims? We're always talking about the rights of the accused. How about the rights of the victims? You know, I understand if maybe, okay, the guy hasn't been convicted yet and you're worried about his right. Fine. But he's been convicted. Now we know he really did. Hey, off with his head. I mean, that's the way it used to be. So what is wrong? You know what's wrong? We forgot God. Well, whether you're a Christian or a Catholic, Jew, whatever, it doesn't matter. We have forgotten God. You know, when I was in school, we used to say the Pledge of Allegiance, the one nation under God. They don't do that anymore. They didn't say one nation under God anymore. They don't say the Pledge of Allegiance anymore. Because we're forgetting our foundational values that cause us to have good moral standing and character. And this comes from our fear of God, respect for Him. And we have forgotten about this, so we are giving demons the chance at life. Even prison is not what he deserves. This guy's going to be in prison. He's going to have his TV. He's going to have his gourmet meals. No. See, you watch too many movies. Don't think that they're always going to the line and can I? And he don't feed him too much because he don't like him. No. Sure, they have that. But in prison, especially the feds, you go to the commissary, you get chicken, rice, shrimps, clams, roast beef, all kinds of stuff. Vegetables, spices. You can even get creatinine so you can bulk up. Everything you can get and have a nice, pampered life in jail, in prison. Not so much jail, but prisons. You can't. And he doesn't deserve this at all for destroying the people's life. Just like this guy sticking his wang and little 4-year-old babies doesn't deserve a lot. I don't care if he's saving people's lives. Doesn't matter. He doesn't deserve that chance. If that's what he wanted to do, he should have done that in the beginning. Imagine how good of a person, how wonderful of a human being he would have been had he done that first to begin with, instead of sticking his wang where it doesn't belong. This is why we need to execute sexual offenders. All sexual offenders must be executed. Bring back the death penalty. And I think we should bring back the death penalty. But, all right, maybe for, high crimes and stuff, of course, we don't want to give the death penalty for that. I don't think, if you get drunk and you cause a big wreck and you end up killing 10 people, I don't think you should really have the death penalty for that. But when you are a real monster, like that Mexican or whatever he was that killed the 2 cops, he should get the death penalty. No deportation, no death penalty. You're diddling girls, little girls, death penalty. Raping women jogging in the park, death penalty. Sodomizing boys or other men, there's gay sex offenders, death penalty. And then, of course, murderers, death penalty. I think that's very appropriate, and the decline of our moral character and society in this country is directly attributable to the fact that we don't punish high crimes with intense ferocity to keep it from happening again, to deter it, to discourage it. Instead of throwing gays off of buildings, we should take sex offenders and throw them off buildings. Just like ISIS does to the gays. Because let me tell you something. I catch you diddling my little girl, I'ma throw you off the top of the building. Enough said.